Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? I'm actually vlogging at night again, not during the morning like I have been lately. It is 8:32 p.m. on Thursday evening. I've been so busy today, you guys. I've been working my, like Paula Abdul said on Hey Paula, I work my... No, I just got a lot of stuff done today that I wanted to get done. A lot of really good things, a lot of exciting things. Went to the doctor this morning. We're gonna talk about that in just a second. I just went into Speedway and I got my Diet Pepsi. I'm on my way to my brother-in-law's house. Alex's, one of his two godmothers, I think that's who it is, he said, is visiting, and he just got there. He just texted me, and Fufu and Jesse are there, and I think this is the last night that we're going to be able, because of things that Alex has to do, the last night that we are, I haven't seen this person that we're visiting with in like years. I mean, it's been like since Alex and I first started dating. Hold on a second. Where did he tell me about it? God, we text so much throughout the day. Oh, it's his aunt. But it's like a cousin of his mom's that they call, like, it's not like his aunt. But anyway, let me show you these masks I got. Look at these cute masks I got. Can you see them? From Target. They're like Goodfellow brand. You get like two in each mask, and each mask is reversible. I mean, not really, but they could be. So like they're gray on this one side, see? And then on the other side, they're like this. They're not really reversible, but they totally could be. And then I got those, and I have this one in here that I keep on wearing. Oh, I got this one. Wore this, I don't know where, I think I wore this. You can't see it, but it's like pinstripe up close. It's real cute. But anyway, Goodfellow brand. They have a lot of those. Oh, this is a navy blue one that I was wearing today. They have those at Target. I always keep like several packs in my car of masks. I have these two, these indie ones, just in case somebody needs a mask, or in case I want a new mask. And then I try to wash these every couple uses. So anyway, put this over there. Okay, so we're gonna go over to Alex's brother's house now. And do you guys want to hear about my day? Okay, let's talk about my day. I had a good day today. Although, at about 6:45, 7, it started really catching up with me. I already put some hand sanitizer on it. This is pumpkin cupcake from Bath & Body Works, and I'm gonna use this so my hands smell good. And I have cologne on, Chanel Blue. Oh, that smells so good. Did I tell you that I went to Target, or was I telling Valerie this? I went to Target, and they have tons and tons and tons of hand sanitizer right now, and it's like super cheap. So I bought like a big bottle, like this big, probably like a 20-ounce bottle. And then I bought like 3 half that size, and then like 6, or maybe more than that, I don't know. I mean, I didn't buy tons. They have tons. Target has absolutely tons of it right now. And I guess nobody's buying it. So I was like, well, you don't know what's gonna happen, so I might as well have some more hand sanitizer, you know? Because, you know, before you couldn't find it anywhere. So I'd rather not have to worry about that again. I bought like 6, I think, of the hand ones. And then I have like 3 or 4 of these from Bath & Body Works. And then I have some from somewhere else too. Now people like give them to me, you know, like Tanya gives me, she'll get like a hand sanitizer and she'll buy me one, and vice versa and stuff like that. So, okay, I went to my back doctor this morning. My back, he's a spine specialist. And I got this shot in my nerve. It was actually 4 shots that I got. It was real simple, you guys. It was so nice. And actually, when I was riding the elevator up, I was in the elevator with this woman that was in scrubs, and she was like eating her lunch, and I was talking to her, and we were kind of joking about stuff because she had these Rice Krispie treats in her hand, or this Rice Krispie treat that she had bought, and I said, oh, that looks like the best part of your lunch, or something like that, and I was telling her, and she was like, oh, I love them, and I remember when I was a kid, and I put more marshmallows in them, and I said something about, because I don't eat them anymore as a vegetarian, but when I was a kid, my grandma used to always make them for me, my dad's mom, and so whenever we would go visit her in Fort Wayne, she would always send them home with me, and she would put them in like this Tupperware container, and she would wrap it with like hosiery. I don't know why, but that's just what she would do, and I loved them. Oh, my grandma made the best Rice Krispie treats. But I loved making Rice Krispie treats, you know, before it would like get hard and you would set it in the refrigerator, when you would mix it in the bowl. That was my favorite part to eat back in the day, and I was telling her that. But then when I checked in, there was like 4 check-in stations. She was like the one that I checked in with, because this place is huge. And she was so friendly and so nice. So I paid for that. And then I just waited like 5 minutes. They were like right on time. I couldn't believe it. And then his nurse took me in, and then she explained to me everything that was going to happen. I just had to lay down on my stomach, and then they would go in, and then they would like, what do you call it? The area around the nerve, they were in my leg. They were, well, it was like the top of like my waistband. They would go in and like, from like this, from my waistband to like this part below, they would go in and numb it so that the shot wouldn't hurt so bad. It's kind of very similar to dental work, I think. So they gave me 2 shots, I think, of that, maybe 3 to numb the area. And those were the ones that kind of hurt a little bit. And then he went in and he was like, okay, I'm putting the needle in, and I hardly even felt it. And he's like, it's gonna feel like a little bit of pressure. And I was like, okay. And like, he goes, okay, that's it. And I said, oh, now we're ready for like, I thought he was still numbing it. And he was, and it didn't hurt. It was just pressure. Like the worst I did was like at one point, I was like, because they have you like on a massage table kind of thing, and I have my head down. And at one point, I kind of just like went like that a little bit, and that was it. And I do have a high threshold for pain, but I kind of thought it would hurt a lot more than that. Because when I saw the needles were pretty big. They were like that big. And, well, maybe not that big. They're probably that big, each one of them. And he said, I said, oh, that's it. Now we're ready for like the nerve needle. And he said, oh no, we're completely done. You're done. I mean, it literally took less than 3 minutes. And I said, seriously? And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, we're done. He goes, how do you feel? And I said, I'm okay. And then they were very careful with me, like sitting up. He was on one side, she was on the other. And he was like, we're gonna have you sit here for a little bit. And so I sat down and talked to him, and he was very nice. I mean, you know, I know him, he's a family friend. Like, he's a really close family friend. And so I know him really well. And, but he was very professional in that setting, you know, and he was like, this is what we're gonna do. And, you know, in 2 weeks, I want you to call and either set up an appointment to come back in because the pain is still there, or if the pain is gone, he was like, just text me. And, you know, then we can talk on the phone and I can tell you like what I think, you know, you should do going forward and blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, okay. And he was like, but you know, like if anything comes up between now and then, let me know. But other than that, he goes, I said, well, how long until like I should know? Like 2 days, 2 weeks? And he goes, let's go 2 weeks. He goes, let's wait. He goes, you should know. Cause like yesterday and today, like I wasn't feeling any pain at all in my leg, but he told me, he said, when the numbness wears off today from the shot, because we irritated the nerve, you probably will feel some of the pain in your back again. He goes, so I'm just gonna prepare you for that. Don't freak out. He was like, once you, like once that wears off, like in, I don't know how long, but like completely wears off, he goes, you're gonna feel like the pain is back in your back again and you're gonna be freaking out. And I said, or he didn't say freaking out, he goes, but you're gonna be worried that like, oh, the pain is coming back. And I said, okay. And I really didn't notice it. And then I was like sitting outside and I was watching one of my videos back today, and I like stood up and I was like, I kind of like went like that. I mean, this was literally like probably 5 or 6 hours later that I could feel it. I was like, oh, it felt like, not like the first day, but I would say the end of the first week is how it felt. And then I remembered what he said. Now it's fine. So I feel so hopeful. I feel so motivated. I feel like I'm gonna get better. I asked him, I said, when can I start walking? When can I start doing stuff? You know, like, what do you think about me, like, getting on roller skates and all that? And he said, well, he goes, the roller skate thing scares me. He goes, you need to be very, very careful with that. I'm not going to tell you no. He said, you know, I have patients of mine that get back to doing what they're doing 24 hours later. He said, he did get on me about my weight. He said, I'm concerned about your weight. And he said, you know, like, I'm saying that to you as a friend, and I'm also saying that to you as your doctor. He said, you know, when you're overweight, that causes back problems a lot of times because you put yourself in uncomfortable situations and it's easier to fall and things like that. And you do more damage to yourself. He goes, so I really want you to get in check with your weight and things like that. And I said, okay, we talked about that for quite a while. And, which, you know, I knew that already, right? And, so he said, he goes, I'm fine with you doing all that kind of stuff. He was like, I know, he goes, this is the third time you brought up these roller skates. He just kind of looked at me. He goes, I'm not opposed to it. He goes, but just be careful. He said, he goes, and I wouldn't do it today or tomorrow. He goes, I would maybe wait till next week sometime. He goes, but you can start walking. He goes, I think it would be good for you to walk in the neighborhood and start getting active. He goes, it's going to help repair your back. So yeah, start being active. He goes, but just don't overexert yourself. I was like, okay. So, I feel much better about all of that. And then I left there. Oh, I'm in the middle of this audiobook that I'm absolutely just loving. And I think that put me in a really good mood today too. It's called A Bad Day for Sunshine. And I talked all about it in my vlog yesterday, so I won't talk about it again today. But so I did that. And then I went over to Dunkin' Donuts and I did a review of these bagel bites, which were delicious. So go check out that review. And then I came home. Did I do something before that? I came home. I didn't start my videos right away. What did I do? Oh. Well, I don't want to say a whole lot about this on here. But I'll say a little bit about it. So it's no mystery to anybody that has watched my channels for a long time that we are really wanting to get another place in South Florida, Miami area, probably Brickell. And we've kind of been doing some stuff to not like serious stuff, but just some stuff to start making that process slowly start happening. And so there was some stuff that I was looking at and dealing with today. So we're trying to really, hopefully, make that a reality. Hopefully by maybe next summer. I mean, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of different factors into it, but I don't want to say anything more about that. But it's kind of something that has been like on the back burner, and I would say in the last week has kind of been moved between the burners, closer to the front burner, and we're getting excited about that. So, we're just gonna kind of have to wait and see, with, everything that's going on in the world and all of that kind of stuff. But I'll talk more about that later when I know more about what's going on. And then I came home, and that was at home when I did all that. But anyway, and then I filmed a Peterism. Did I film the Peterisms video first? Filmed the Peterisms video. Oh, because my phone was almost dead at that point. And then so I charged my phone so I could use it for my drama video. And then I filmed my drama video, and then I filmed my Peter Does Stuff video, where I went through all of my old record albums and my 45s. And it was funny because so many people like commented things on there. Like somebody said that one of their favorite soundtracks was the Somewhere in Time soundtrack. And I'm like, oh my God, that's one of my favorite soundtracks too, and I own that. And I started thinking about like all these albums that I'm like, where are they? And I think I probably have there's probably another 10 or 20 that are at my dad's house that I took over there and just left there at some point. Okay, this is not the exit that I want. So I'm gonna have to go back over there and get those at some point. I mean, he won't care. But I forgot that those were over there. So I filmed that, just kind of took my time today. It was really nice. Yesterday I was saying that when I get up early, I don't get a lot done. And then today was I got up early. Okay, did I go the wrong way again? I just went the wrong way. Damnation. I was supposed to take that exit. I mean, I can still take this exit, but... And then today I got up early, and I feel like I got a lot of stuff done. So, I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I can't figure it out anymore. But I thought, what the hell, I'm going to vlog today. I'm gonna vlog now today instead of waiting, because if I'm tired later, then, you know, because I told Alex, I said I'm probably only gonna stay over there for like an hour. It's just that, okay, I'm so, no, this is the wrong exit, but it can be right. It's still the right exit, if that makes sense. But the last exit was the exit I was supposed to take, but I can take this one, it's just as fast. This exit, I can actually go past my cousin Caroline's neighborhood. So I'll honk at her and be like, hey Caroline, hey cousin Caroline, how are you? But yeah, I got a lot done today. I don't know, maybe it was my mood too. Like yesterday, how can I say this? Yesterday, a lot of the stuff that kind of like came to fruition today about what we're like looking forward to in the future. Like yesterday I was dealing with a lot of it. Today, I just kind of got like the good news about stuff. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, so it was my attitude was different today. I don't know. Yesterday, I found myself kind of starting my day over a couple times. Not like literally where I was like, okay, I'm gonna start my day over, but where I was kind of like sitting there like, okay, Peter, like snap out of it, you know, like, I was just letting stupid stuff like irritate me yesterday, and it was stupid. Oh my God, there's a Joella's chicken over here. I didn't know that. This is the smoothie shop we used to go to. It's Fuji Sushi now, but Alex and I used to go to that every, when we first started dating. I'd pick him up, and then we would go to work out at LA Fitness, which is right here. And then we would go get smoothies, and then we would eat, or sometimes, did we get smoothies before? I feel like we got smoothies after. Oh, there's Jet's Pizza that Caroline always gets. And then we would go to Bar Louie, and we would get chicken Caesar salads. That must have been after I stopped being a vegetarian, so that would have been because I stopped like that September when we went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I guess I don't go all the way to Caroline's. So, hi cousin Caroline, how are you? See, if I come from the other exit, I'd be coming this way, right here, down this road. Oh, and then, because I started getting all these messages from people about, I've gotten a lot of them through the years, and I always say like, I'm gonna set up a Cameo, and whatever, and I never do. And then Alex was like, why don't you set up a Cameo? He was like, so many YouTubers have it. He was like, all the Real Housewives have it. And I didn't know how to, like, I didn't know how to do it, first of all. I received several invitations from like people that work at Cameo, and you put in like this VIP like code to like start it's not a V, it doesn't mean anything except for that you just get to start a Cameo, right? And but I didn't know like how much to ask for them. I didn't know how much was too much and how much was too little. So I started like looking at some other YouTubers to see like what other people put out there. Some people, God, theirs are like expensive. So I tried to middle grade it, but I'm also gonna try to like do a lot on them, if that makes sense. Like, so I will link it below. I have a Cameo now. You can just go to Cameo and search probably Peter Monn, I would think, I don't know. Yeah, and then I went and got dinner. I got Noodles and Company. I was craving pasta tonight. And, so I got that. Buttered noodles, and I did get a Rice Krispie treat. And an orange soda. I know, oh my God! Here I am, I'm talking about working on my diet. I can't talk about that in this video tonight. I just can't. I can't. So now, and then Alex was like, oh, he was like, I'm done with work. I was watching Mama's Family. Actually, I was gonna start some new show, and then I went to Game Show Network. I like to just have something homey on in the evenings around the house, which to me either equates to like, I know this is so funny, but like a scary movie, like Screams. I love all the Scream movies, so I usually like put one of those in the background, or something of that era, like Urban Legend, or I know which, excuse me, Did Last Summer, or whatever. So I'll put like one of those movies on in the background because it's very fall-ish and kind of, I feel like it's kind of family-ish. I don't know why. Or if somebody else understands that, please put that in the comment section below. Or I will put on like Game Show Network or Roseanne or whatever. But I haven't really been watching Roseanne reruns in quite some time since all of this stuff with her, and I don't know what I think anymore. it doesn't, like, I love the show. I still love the show. I will always love the show, but it doesn't have the same feeling to me as it did before. And so tonight I watched Mama's Family, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love Mama's Family. Now, I didn't really watch Mama's Family. I watched it growing up, but I didn't really watch it until I was with my ex. And he was obsessed with two shows, Golden Girls and Mama's Family. And you know what's really funny about this is, like, today in 2020, there's like all these gay guys that are obsessed with Golden Girls, right? But, I mean, we watched every episode of Golden Girls and The Golden Palace, okay? And when I was with him, like, that was his favorite show from growing up. And it was never a gay thing. It was never like, you go, Dorothy, or anything like that. I mean, it was never anything like that. I mean, he just loved the show. And his two gay friends loved the show. And that was like a bonding thing for them when they were growing up, because they had, like, watched it, you know? And I never watched The Golden Girls really a whole lot. I mean, I watched it here and there growing up, but it wasn't like a show that I was like, oh my God, I would live or die for The Golden Girls. And to this day, to be honest with you, it's still not a show that I live or die for. I don't get the same feeling from it that I do from some of these other shows. Like, it's definitely not a Roseanne for me, you know what I mean? But it's a good show. I mean, I could probably tell you every episode, because I've seen every episode probably 2 or 3 times because of him. He used to also like to watch golf. I don't know why. He didn't golf. He just liked the sound of it. He liked to take a nap on the couch and listen to golf. Isn't that so funny? And so I think, like, my ears kind of trained for that over time, because sometimes whenever I hear like a golf game on ESPN or something like that, I'm always kind of like, oh, that's so relaxing. And I never thought of that before. But anyway, isn't it funny the things you pick up in relationships? Yeah. So anyway, that was the thing with the Golden Girls. But I still to this day don't understand it. Like, this huge fandom for the Golden Girls. Like, I like them, don't get me wrong. And I think, you know, it's funny and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know. And I know, you know, like, well, anyway. I don't know. I'm just not the biggest Golden Girls fan in the world. Anyway, I'm almost to their house, so I'm going to get off here now. And I will be back afterwards to finish up my vlog. So I will see you guys then. Bye. Okay, I'm back. That was fun. Had a good time. We sat outside. It was really nice. And, so Alex calls, his aunt, because, like, he knew her from, like, the time that he and Carlos were, like, 6 and 7. Oh my God, I swear there was just a car coming. Oh, they just turned down that driveway. I was like, I swear there was a car when I was coming to the top of that hill. When I went down, it wasn't there anymore. I was like, where did it just disappear to? So she and Alex's mom got divorced the same year in Venezuela. And they would go to their son's baseball games the same time. Like, Carlos played baseball, and so this was before Fufu was born, so he and his mom would go to the baseball games, and then his aunt and her son was there, and she would bring, or for the baseball games, and then she would bring her daughter that was with her tonight. It was her and her daughter's husband, and they were visiting. I guess the last time that we saw her, I remember meeting her, but her daughter wasn't. She said she was like, I was here for one day, and her daughter said she was here for one day. I don't remember meeting her daughter, but I do remember meeting her, and that was the year before we got married, which would have been 2010, so it would have been 10 years ago, is what they were saying. But anyway, it's kind of like my Aunt Susie is to me. And just like a really close family friend. But she is actually Carlos's so Alex was telling me the story. So after Fufu was born, then Alex's mom got all 3 of them baptized in this new church that they went to, and his aunt that's visiting is actually Carlos's godmother. So, yeah, so, and then, well, Carlos and Alex both have 2 godmothers. I think they each have 2 godmothers, maybe, I don't know. But Alex's is his other aunt that she was at. She lives north of Miami now. She lives like in Fort Lauderdale area. We saw them the last time that we were down in Miami, and she was at our wedding, and she comes to visit up here like every other year. comes to visit. She's actually probably more like my Aunt Susie, because she was Alex's mom's best friend in college, and she's been her best friend since college. So, but anyway, we all just sat outside. Jessie wasn't there because she was like visiting her sister on our college campus. So we were, I like parked and came around outside, and the dog was running around because Fufu brought his dog home, and it was nice. We all just kind of sat outside, and then the kids were getting ready for bed and stuff, and so I was talking to Liliana, and she was telling me tomorrow the kids were picking out their pajamas because they have pajama day tomorrow at school. and Carlitos is so funny because he's like at that age when you can like have a real conversation with him, you know, and he's like shaking his head, and he like went into the bathroom and he like brushed his teeth and changed his pajamas, and he came out and he had these like, you know, dinosaur pajamas on that have like they look like thermal underwear, but they're like, you know, pajamas. And he goes, and he was like bouncing on the bed. I don't know why. He kept on saying, I said, are you saying John Cena? And then he started laughing at me. So I don't know what he was saying, but he was bouncing on the bed, and his mom was like laughing at him. And she's Liliana's so funny. Carlitos goes, he goes, I'm wearing my pajamas because they're what I'm gonna wear all day tomorrow, because he's like on Zoom school tomorrow. And I said, oh, well, that's kind of fun. He goes, yeah, I'm just gonna sleep all day tomorrow. And he goes, it's so stupid. We're on Zoom, and he goes, and we're having pajama day. And I go, well, they're trying to make it kind of fun for you. That's nice. And Liliana was like, yeah, that's really nice and stuff. And he started laughing, and he kept on saying whatever he was saying. But, so then I laughed because like Liliana and Carlos come and they tuck the kids in, and they do like a story time with them and stuff, which I just think is so nice. Like my mom always did that to me. You know, well, the majority of the time she did when I was growing up and I was younger, and it just, you know, those times of like my mom reading the books to me, or like when we would sit there and listen to an old time radio tape or something like that, like Fibber, McGee and Molly or The Shadow. Like I really remember those times from even being like Carlitos' age, you know. Like they make them eat at the whatever they're having. Like they had pizza tonight, and like their plates were still like they had sat at the dinner table and they had like eaten dinner and stuff. One point I was watching some YouTube videos of I don't even know who these people are, but like Sebastian is like obsessed with these YouTube videos now, and we were like sitting there watching. I had like come in for like 5 minutes because I left my like fountain pop inside. Oh, darn it, I left my fountain pop there. Oh well. Anyway, I left my fountain pop inside, and do you ever do something like that? You just realize, oh my god, I just did it. But anyway, so I came in to get it, and then he was like watching it, and he was being so sweet. So I went over and I like sat down, and we were like watching it, and then Liliana, that's when she came to tell him that he had to go upstairs. And so she was sitting down there for a second with like, so the three of us were sitting there watching the show, and he was like explaining the show to us. It was so funny. I just love my family. I just feel so blessed to have all of them. And yeah, it was fun. It was good. Got to hang out and talk to Fufu a little bit more tonight, which was nice. And we talked about hopefully being able to plan something to come and visit them. And I don't think they're probably going to be able to come home for quite some time. They have a hard time like getting time off from work, and so like this was a good time for them to get off work. But like Fufu had to work from home 2 days this week and like most of next week. And I know Jessie had to work from home like 2 days this week too, but I think she's off all next week. But like today I said, what did you do to Fufu? Because I was gonna like text him and ask him if he wanted to go get lunch today. But I thought he's probably got all kinds of stuff to do. He likes to see his friends when he's in town too. So he was like, Carlos was home and he was doing work. And he said Carlitos was at school today. And my mom was here and she was doing some work. But like she was in her room, and Carlos was working out of his office. So he was like, I had the whole downstairs to myself. And he was like, I just watched I can't remember what show he told me he's watching, but he's watching some show. He's real into anime right now. So anyway, he watched like this like show all day today, and he was like, you know, I'm like on vacation, so it's really nice. He was like, so I just got to sit there and basically do nothing but watch this show all day long. He was like, it was really kind of relaxing and nice. Because I was like, well, I was going to text you, see if you... He was like, I would have gone to lunch. And I was like, I know, but I knew you probably wanted to, like, you know, enjoy your day, too. He was like, yeah, it was really nice. He was like, it was really fun to just kind of, like, hang out. And so anyway, it was a good day. Good day all around. And now I'm going to vlog for a little bit. And then I'm going to listen to my audiobook for a little bit. And then hopefully go to bed early, which I'm sure I won't do. Because I'm now kind of up and wired from sitting outside. You know, I didn't grow up in that kind of like, with my family's friends, I did. Like where there was a lot of talk and a lot of chatter. Like when Susie and her daughters would come and visit, you know, for the summers, like that's what tonight reminded me of. Like, you know, she would come and visit, and then like my aunt and uncle would come over with, you know, I feels like Caroline didn't really come over a lot for that, but like, so it would be like my mom and I, and then like Susie and her 2 daughters, and then my aunt and uncle would come over for dinner. And maybe like Susie's friend in her hometown that she grew up. And so we'd all be sitting around making chili dinner, you know, or whatever. And, you know, people be like going inside and out. And like, it was fun. And it was, you know, not boisterous, but like talking. And the kids would be playing a game, you know, on the porch or something like that. And then, you know, we kind of wind down towards the end of the night. Like when I left, they were getting ready to like, Alex was getting ready to leave in like 10 minutes. They were getting ready to like, to do the sleeping arrangements, because like Alex's mom had been upstairs and she had been like arranging all like the beds and where everybody was going to sleep and stuff. So anyway, I mean, it kind of reminded me of back then when they would all come to visit, you know, in the summers. But by and large, my family, because it was so small, you know, it was my mom and I, Caroline, and my aunt and uncle. That was it, like when I was growing up. So there was always people that they invited over, like for after like the holiday, but during the holiday, or just like if we got together for like a Sunday dinner, like that was it. Like it was very quiet, it was very subdued. We sat down, we had our dinner. Like there was not a lot of like, this term is so funny to me now, like in being in recovery, but there was not a lot of crosstalk. Crosstalk is when you're in a meeting and you like cross, like you talk to somebody or like, you know, out of turn, but there was none of that, like where 4 people are talking at the same time, you know, like, and at Alex's family, it's always just somebody's in and out, somebody's bringing more food outside, you know, we're like talking, telling stories, there's a lot of laughter, and there's a lot of games, and I look back at that, and, you know, I like would never have said that probably to my mom, because I think that my mom and my aunt really always tried to make our holidays so special. But I did say something like that to Caroline one day, and like she even got kind of like, she was like, well, because I feel like I said we just rush, like we rush to have dinner, we rush to like make the food, sit down, we rush to make dinner, we rush to get through. And it's like, I think that's why last Christmas, was it last Christmas? I feel like it was. We stayed there and played games forever, and it was so nice, because that was not my experience growing up. Like my experience was literally, I mean, it's 10:51, so, and I've been vlogging for 11 minutes, so 10:40, I left there, and I don't know what time I got there, but like 9, so I was almost there for 2 hours just on a random night to just sit around and talk. Like, that would have been our Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter, like, but probably less than that. We would have got there, it would have been cocktail hour for 20 minutes, while my aunt would have been up and down 15 times, making a beautiful dinner, of course. It was very nice. I mean, I appreciate it. You know, everything was so beautiful. But we would sit there and be like, how are you? Good. What's going on? Somebody would be getting up and walking in the other room, doing something, you know. And then we would sit down and eat and say the prayer. And then we would eat. And literally, whoever was done first would get up and take their plate, you know, into the other room, and then they'd go to the basement or go to the living room. And then it was like, people didn't come back to the table and sit. There just wasn't a lot of that, you know? And especially, I think, as we got older, like, and Caroline brought boyfriends around, or, you know, I brought boyfriends or husbands around, it just, like, it even got even less than that. And so, you know, and my aunt and uncle always went to bed super early. So, like, we would have to have things done super early. So then my mom and I, who were both kind of night owls to some degree, you know, we'd be leaving and we were, like, ready to get started. You know what I mean? Like, we were ready to sit there and watch a Christmas movie or play a game or do something. You know, and then later I found out, like, you know, with like Caroline and her stepsons, like, okay, so her one stepson is obsessed with games. He and his wife are obsessed with games, and they always bring like a new board game to play or something, you know, which we love. Alex and I, we're always down for that, you know. And but like, I didn't know that they were like going back to their house, because I think like my aunt and uncle would have like wanted to do that, but like they would play games for like the next 5 hours. Like they would sit there, you know, and just play games for like all night long. And I didn't know that for the longest time. Then Caroline was like, oh yeah, they always come over and stay for a while, and they play games, and we go late, you know, maybe get like, you know, bring out, you know, frozen pizzas and whatever. And I was like, why does our family not? I mean, I didn't know about all that. She's like, well, you're more than welcome to do it anytime. So like last year, that's why it was so much fun, you know. I expect the same this year. I wish our house was more like a friendly place to, like, it's just not real, like, it's a hard house to entertain in, because it's small, number one. Number two, there's not a lot of places to sit. Number three, there's not a lot of, I mean, we have a dining room table that we can clear everything on. It's just, I don't know, I'm ready, like, to redo the house and have it be more entertaining, friendly, or, you know, so we can have people over. And it has been nice this summer, like when Sarah's come over and sat on the patio and eaten dinner and stuff, like, or Alex's mom, because that like gave us a whole other place, you know what I mean, where we could do that, which was really, really nice this summer, because we had the patio's nice. People, you know, have the couch out there with the table and stuff, and set up, like, you know, Alex would put like an ice bucket out there with like 2 bottles of champagne or 2 bottles of wine or something in it, you know, and then sit out there and, you know, eat cheese and whatever. It was fun. It was fun this summer out there. I'm gonna miss it. It was funny because today I was talking to my neighbor, and she was saying, I was telling her that I wanted to get some mums and some pumpkins, because she's got some and they're really pretty. They're small, but they're pretty. And she was like, have you gone to that that farmer's market right up the street? And she was telling me where it's at. And I was like, yeah, I keep on meaning to stop by there. And it's the one that in my vlog, either today or yesterday or the day before, I said that I wanted to stop there. And she was like, and I said, and oh my God, they've got really beautiful ones that are like purple. And so she was like, oh my God, you should totally go. Purple would look great. Purple or yellow maybe, but I think purple would be prettier with our house because of the colors. But anyway, she was like, oh yeah, she goes, they're really nice stuff over there. So she's always getting fresh vegetables and stuff. And in fact, one night, they're always trying new places, and then they tell me about it, which I love. She was telling me about this Amish farm that they went to, or I don't know what it is. Because I said something to her the other day, and she's like, are you talking about the place in it's northwest Indiana. Oh shoot. I can't think of what that city's called now, but it's where there's like a lot of Amish communities. And I said, no. I said, you guys told me that one night that you went to some Amish farm in Carmel, and they have like fried chicken and pumpkin pies. And she was like, oh yeah. And she was like, it's called such and such. And she was like, I'll get the address for you. She's like, yeah, it's just an Amish family. And she was like, but they have like I don't, obviously fried chicken, but she said it's some of the best fried chicken like that they've ever had, because her husband loves fried chicken. But you can get like full pumpkin pie, sweet potato pies. I love sweet potato pie. I didn't used to, but I'm becoming a huge, I'm starting to favor a sweet potato pie. I don't know what's changed in me, but I really do love a good sweet potato pie. But it has to be made really well and kind of firm. I kind of like, oh Lord. I kind of like a pumpkin pie the same way too. It has to be like really kind of firm. Isn't it funny that I'm talking about like the perfect kind of pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie? That's when you kind of know you're getting older. You're standing outside talking to your neighbors about the firmness of a sweet potato pie. I like that though. Those are the kind of conversations I'm really enjoying in my life today, you know? Those are kind of like the simple things, you know? But she's like, yeah, she was like, I said, I was thinking actually about doing a review of some of their stuff. And she was like, oh, that would be great. She was like, you could review their pumpkin pies and their other stuff. I was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. She's like, they have fresh potato salad. I was like, oh my God. My mom, that was going to be mom moved into mother. My mom My mom used to make the best homemade potato salad. It was like chunks of hard kind of potato. Like, it was cooked, but not all the way through. And it had some egg in it, but not a lot, because I don't like a lot of egg in my potato salad. And then it had celery, and she put mustard and mayonnaise in it. She had like a special recipe. She puts a little bit of curry in it. She had the best recipe in the world for homemade potato salad, and she just did it on her own. So I have no idea how she made it. Like, I wish I knew, but I said somebody's name, and I probably shouldn't have said their name, so I'm just gonna... Anyway, it's a really close family friend of ours. It's like, we're like best friends of my aunt and uncles and things like that, and they have all these recipes, or she has all these recipes, that she always acts are like... It's so funny because, like, Alex will, he'll like text her and ask her for the recipe, or Caroline will be like, do you want the recipe? And I'm like, okay, this whole like throw in a bit of this and a pinch of that, and what, I mean, like, it's so confusing when you read it. And but they're like, she is the hands down the world's best cook in the entire world, and just such a dear woman. I love her to death, and has been such a huge part of my life. You ever thought about, like, if you sat down and you made a list of, like, you know, if your life was a movie from beginning to end, like, who would be all of the characters in your movie? Like, who would be all the players, you know? It's kind of a strange thing, isn't it? To think. Like, all the way from, like, you know, being born and, like, who your family's friends were then, to, like, now, to, like, getting older, to, like, in your adult life. I mean, if you think about it, you know, it's crazy. It's like, when I was growing up, I had, like, you know, well, early on, like, my mom's college friends and high school friends were important. And then I would say, like, 2 or 3 of those kind of morphed into my high school years. But then it was more of, like, my dad's work friends and my mom's, like, same friends, but then, like, family and friends of, like, my aunts, people that they knew together. And then it morphed into a lot of drinking friends. Well, in high school, it was friends like my high school group. And then after that, like, my drinking friends and friends I met from going out to gay bars. And then it became, like, my sober friends. Still carrying with it, like, the family and the friends that I had, you know, like, from being really young, that I, you know, friends of the family and things like that. And then, I've always had a lot of people in my life, a lot of adults, that I would call very close, like family members that were just really close friends of my dad's and my mom's. My dad's fraternity brother, who passed away, I bet it's been about 15 years now. 10 years. Was I with Alex when he passed away? I don't know. I just had a dream about his daughter the other night. That's so weird. I just remembered that. But anyway, he was like my dad's diehard friend always. And then my dad, like, oh, he just, this weekend, I just talked to my dad today on the phone. My dad, or last week, he went up, to visit his high school friend from when he was in growing up. So my dad's best friend, do you want to hear something funny? I mean, it's not funny really, but my dad's best friend growing up was the neighborhood like minister. Like, he was the reverend of my dad's church. So they call him Reverend so-and-so. And I mean, to this day, well, he's passed away, but my dad, like, when I remember him, like, my dad would say, you know, Peter, this is Reverend so-and-so. And this was, like, his, like, this would be, like, if this was Tanya's, like, mom to me, you know? And, but it was, like, her best, it was, like, my dad's best friend, like, growing up. And they've known each other ever since they were, like, 3 years old, living next door to each other. They lived right next door to each other, isn't that crazy? And they're the ones that, like, collected the dogs and stuff like that, I think. But anyway, my grandma used to tell all these crazy stories about them. But he went up and hung out with him overnight and had like a good time, and had a really good time. He was telling me all about it today. And they just kind of told stories and stuff. My dad loves all of that. He loves getting everybody together and like telling the stories about when they were kids and they were growing up and all that kind of stuff. But actually, okay, so that same guy, that Reverend, he's who baptized me. Is that not cool? I think that's so cool. So anyway. And I think he baptized my dad. I think he baptized my dad and he baptized me. Anyway. And they did my grandfather's funeral. You know, we don't look at churches the same way that we used to, you know? I think like when my dad was growing up and when I was growing up, like churches were such a focal point of like, I swear I thought I saw an alien. I was like, oh my God. I'm always looking for aliens. You know, when I grew up, our church was like, it wasn't a huge focal point, but it was I would say, 15 to 20% of my life when I was growing up. My parents weren't Bible thumpers. They weren't like hardcore about it, but like it was important to them, you know? I mean, they took it seriously. Me being in Sunday school, me being in confirmation classes and all that kind of stuff, like they wanted me to have that. Every time I look at this Margaritaville station, it's always a Jack Johnson song that comes on, which I think is so funny. Staple It Together. I don't know that song. Do you guys know that song? Rock 24, Margaritaville. Jack Johnson, Staple It Together. Yeah, but I don't. And what's interesting is that I went through all that stuff and I know the stories and whatever. I mean, I don't know Bible verses and things like that, but I know the stories. I mean, I went to Sunday school every year until I was like, I can't remember what year it was that my parents really kind of like, I think it was like, I was like 14 or 15 and they were like, it's up to you at this point what you do, if you want to go to church or not. And I chose not to go. And I remember my mom was very sad about it. Like, and it was really, to be honest with you, it had nothing to do with the fact that I was questioning authority or that I was disrespecting the church. It was nothing about that. It was just, I didn't want to go. And I didn't get anything out of it. Like, and I think that's what kind of made my mom sad maybe, was that after all of those years of like being involved in the church, but I was not somebody like, okay, I mean, I went to Sunday school and I went to the sermon every Sunday. And then I went through confirmation classes in what, 6th or 7th grade. And that was it. Like, I think 6th grade, and that was it. That was one night a week. I mean, it was not this. I didn't go to like Bible study. I didn't go to church camp. I did church camp one year with a friend of mine to his church camp, and I ended up loving it. I got there, I hated it, I didn't want to be there, I was ostracized, I was pushed out, and by the end of the week, I had the best time ever. I had made new friends. It was just so much fun, and I didn't want to go home. But I never went back. But I didn't go to church camp through my church. I mean, we weren't there 4 nights a week. I wasn't super involved. I don't know. And do I think that would have made a difference? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I honestly think that a lot of it had to do with the fact that my parents were so open-minded to any belief when I was growing up. You know, if I ask about Buddhism, my mom and dad would say, well, here's what we know, and we'll get a book if you're interested in it, you know? When I wanted Ouija board, or not Ouija board, when I wanted like tarot cards, like, you know, they were like, okay, like they wanted, but a positive book about that experience, you know, like they took away the curiosity of anything for me, but at the same time, I think they were almost kind of like, you know, when you have a young person growing up and it's like, okay, here, open your mind to anything. Because I can remember then later my dad said, we didn't really care what you believed as long as it was something positive in your life, you know? And I was like, oh, okay. But I think that what maybe bothered my mom was that all these years that she had invested in me being a part of the church, and I think she wanted for me what she had for herself, which was this feeling of true faith, this strong faith, which in reality, I didn't have at all. And I can remember when I was in high school, and I would go, like, I would be in classes with these kids that went to other churches around me. I said the name of the church. Maybe I shouldn't have said the name of the church. So anyway, but I went to this church that was not like, I don't know that it matters. The church doesn't even exist anymore. So whatever. But I went to this church you know, that was like probably 25 minutes from us, 30 minutes from us. And I didn't go to church with anybody. Like, nobody that I went to school with went to my church. And all these kids that I was in high school with, they all went to churches like around me. You know, they had to go to like all these different services and whatever. And I can remember like I'd be in classes with these girls, it always seemed like. And they would say something, and they would say something like, I did not intend for this vlog to get so serious tonight, but it's probably going to. But this is why you can't force spirituality or religion down somebody's throat, okay? And I'm saying this from a personal point of view. You know, and you have to allow somebody to come to it on their own. Which is why my husband is an atheist. I've never fought it. I've never pushed it. You know, I'll say things like, this is a God moment or whatever, and he asks questions, but like, it's on him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just as interested in his thought process as he is interested in as mine as well. But I can remember sitting there and hearing these girls be like, well, my Lord Jesus Christ, and if you do this, and if you repent and whatever, and I'd just be kind of like, you are such a phony. Like, I can remember sitting there thinking to myself, not because it was the cool thing to think, not because I so related to Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye or whatever, or question God and all this kind of stuff, but I can just remember thinking to myself, there is no way that you truly believe that, okay? Because, first of all, it seems so old-timey to me, number one. Number two, I mean, these were kids that were going on, like, they were going on those trips to, like, Israel and places to see, like, the steps that Jesus Christ took and whatever, you know? And these were kids that, like, a lot of them, they went to this church here in town where they really, really, like, believed in it, you know? And it wasn't, like, I mean, this is like a normal church, you guys. I'm not saying that there's non-normal churches, but I think we know that there are. I mean, this wasn't like a hyper-evangelical church. It was nothing like that, right? This was kids that were just involved in this church on Sunday, and then they would do this youth. Oh, it was the youth group that they did, right? Well, I didn't have that youth group experience. So they would say this stuff, and they would almost kind of pass judgment on you if you didn't believe them, you know? And I can just remember inside thinking to myself, never saying it. This one girl I can remember because I liked her like in elementary and junior high. And then she got so like Jesus-y is what I would say back in the day, you know? And I can remember like thinking to myself, you're such a phony. Like, there is no way you believe that. But see, I had to think that because I couldn't believe it for myself. Therefore, if I couldn't believe it for myself, am I totally out of focus? Have I been out of focus the whole thing? If I couldn't believe it for myself, then how could I possibly believe it for her? Because I couldn't internalize it. Does that make sense? Like, I had no internalized spiritual belief. Now, I have to say I believe that I was always somewhat agnostic. And every time I talk about this on here, people want to correct me about what the definition of agnosticism is. So I'll just tell you what it is meant to me. And if I'm wrong, then that's fine. But this is what it has meant to me in my life and served a purpose. Is that I believe that there was some spiritual being out there. I wasn't necessarily sure what form it took or what rules or whatever. And I knew that it wouldn't be, to me, it wouldn't exist in the form of some religion that had doctrine and rules that I had to follow or I was kicked out. I don't believe that. I don't, for me, believe that. I think other people believe that, and I think it's great for them, you know? My mom very much believed that. I don't personally believe that. You know, I believe that forgiveness is a huge part of spirituality, love, compassion, kindness. I go by those tenets. Those are things I believe. But I didn't believe that at the time, and I couldn't internalize it, and I wasn't going to sit there and tell you, well, yes, I believe that, you know, these things. I wasn't going to say it if I didn't believe it. Therefore, I didn't go to church, because I didn't get anything from going out to church. Years later, when I was working in treatment, a friend of mine, she was a total hippie, but she had this bumper sticker on her car. I wish I knew what it said exactly, because I always get it wrong. And it said, you don't have to be in a garage to be a car, just like you don't have to be in church to have God. And something like that. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh my God, like that so resonates with me. And you know, like, I'm a believer that you have to go through a lot of stuff to kind of get to somewhere, right? And for me, having gone through, like, my addiction and almost dying and almost having just, like, given my life away, made me really respect my life and then where that could have come from, the meaning behind things, the symbology behind things in my life, and how much my life means to me, and on and on and on, right? So when all of that happened to me, I started having a very strong spiritual connection to my higher power. After I kind of done some journey and realized that, to me, I went and I looked at, I looked at all kinds of world religions, and when I started looking at all these world religions, the takeaway to me was, in very simplistic form, that the majority of these world religions believe in several things: leading your life from love, kindness, compassion, understanding, and forgiveness, from that point of view. And if you can do that, and you can make something positive out of your life and be of service to others, then, well, maybe you've achieved something, okay? And I believe that that's what most higher powers in most world religions believe. So I don't have to believe a world religion to believe that, right? And I can get behind that. And my mom and I kind of came to terms at some point with me not going to church with her. She would say things from time to time. She'd say, it just would mean so much to me if you would go to church with me just on Mother's Day or whatever. You know, and I held so firmly to my beliefs in my adult life that I would say, I hope that this will maybe serve as being a learning experience to somebody out there. You know, I so firmly believed in holding to my truth that what I believed in as a higher power was not necessarily found in a church, which is so funny. You know, because I always I wore it kind of with a chip on my shoulder, like I had an issue with churches, when in reality, I had no negative experiences from church whatsoever. I only had positive experiences with going to church, only. Never anything negative. So, I don't know if I did that because it was kind of, you know, trendy to talk down on churches or whatever. But today in my life, when I do go to churches for whatever experience they are, weddings, funerals, whatever, meetings sometimes, I don't have a religious experience while being there, but I do find them to be very serene places. And I do find them to be places of, I find often, it depends, positivity and love, you know. When Alex's stepbrother passed away several years ago, I think I was vlogging at that point, but I did, the service was at the, oh shoot, what's that church on the circle? It's a non-denominational church, and it's on the circle in downtown Indianapolis, and it's beautiful. And they bring down the what do you call it? The aisles. They bring the incense, and he passed away right after Christmas. And they still had all the ivy on the windows. Something Cathedral. Why can't I think of what it's called? But anyway, it is a beautiful church. They had literally red velvet ribbons and all kinds of greenery. The Christmas decorations were all just greenery and red ribbons. And it felt to me like being in the Vatican on Christmas Eve, you know, which to me that would be a spiritual experience. You know, that is something that I would do sometime. And take away everything you believe about the Catholic Church. I'm talking about as an experience, you know. So I don't know, in retrospect, I think, would it have really hurt me to go and sit next to my mom on a few Mother's Days and Easters because it would have made her so happy to show off her son in church? Not at all. I wish I had done it. I don't regret it necessarily, because at the time it meant something to me to not do it. But I look back on that and I think to maybe I do regret it. I think I do, maybe. You know, I think to myself, which one was more powerful, making my mom happy in that moment or holding to my beliefs? You know, I so believe in that quote that I always say in all my videos from The Contender, that your principles only mean something if you stick to them when they're inconvenient. Well, there's principles of what you believe with your spiritual/religious beliefs, and then there's principles of what's more important, you know? Respect and love for your parent, or sticking to... I never was that fervent in my beliefs that I didn't get anything from church. It wasn't like this fight of mine, you know? I think it would have made my mom so happy, and... So, Mom, I'm sorry if you can hear this. I probably should have sat my butt in church next to you and made you a proud mom on Mother's Day, you know, and brought you a corsage, and like, that's who I know how to, okay, this is where I do believe that, like, you grow and you change, and when you know better, you do better. Like, I know to be that person today, and like, I would do that for Alex's mom, but like, I didn't know to do that back then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was sober, but I was this defiant 20-something, you know, year old that wanted to prove that my mom got to be a hippie and be liberated in her belief systems, and mine were important too. And what I didn't realize is that it just didn't matter. You know, it just didn't matter. Like, it would have mattered more to make my mom happy. And I did get to do that. You know, in the last 5-10 years of her life, definitely the last 10 years of her life that we were sober together, I got to do those things for her. I didn't go to church with her, but like, she didn't ask at that point. I don't think she did. I don't remember. But like, I got to do more of those things, that like those proud son and mom moments. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm really happy that I got to do that, because I think I missed out on a lot of those when I was younger. I'm going to turn around up here because this car is tailing me and I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Do some of those things if you have the opportunity. You don't know when you're not going to have the opportunity anymore to do those things, you know, with your loved ones, and do things that make them happy. But anyway, you know, it took me a long time to kind of come full circle, and then, you know, I would hear all these sayings in recovery, like, you know, religion is for people that are, this is gonna piss somebody off, but anyway, I mean, this is just a recovery motto, that religion is, and not everybody in recovery believes this, I'm just saying it's something that people say. Recovery, or, oh no, hell is for people that, religion is for people that are afraid of going to hell, and spirituality is for people that have already been there. And what I believe the difference to be is that spirituality is what you believe of the soul, what you believe of your spirit inside, and all of that. Religion to me is a certain set of doctrine that you have to follow. You know, like, I believe that you can be a spiritual person without having religion. While I do believe that there are religious people that don't have spirituality in their life, it doesn't really make sense that you would be a religious person without spirituality. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm not, you know, like, opposed to like going to churches, and I've had a lot of friends of mine in my life. It's interesting, in my life, of A, being an addict, well, I should say A, being gay, and B, being an addict, because it usually comes in that direction. I've had people approach me from two different ways, religious people. I've had religious people approach me from, you're going to hell, you're a sinner, and you still have time to change your life and repent about being gay. And then I have people that say to me, I'll never forget, like, when I met Melissa and Jason, and we started hanging out with them, like, they're very, like, I wouldn't say they're very involved with their church, but they go to their church. Like, they're involved in, like, they're known members of their church, and they love their church and things like that, right? Melissa's not somebody to, like, bump out a spiritual religious statement, but we've had conversations about it before, you know, and it's something that is very important to her. I'll never forget, we were sitting there and we were having pizza at their house one night, and somehow we got on the conversation. It was probably like a month after we started hanging out with them, and we got on a conversation about spirituality versus religion, and I was kind of sharing very much this, like, what I believe in and things like that, you know. And she said, well, our church is, like, really open to gay couples and gay singles, and, you know, like, it's she was like, it's non-denominational, and she was like, if you'd ever want to go, and I said, oh, I really appreciate it. And she was like, well, just let me know. If you ever want to go, you're more than welcome to go with us. Sometimes we go the Saturday night service, and sometimes we go the Sunday service, but yeah, like, just leave it out there in case you ever want to go. And I remember I sat there for like 10 minutes, and I kind of walked away, and I came back and I looked at her, and I said, can I say something? And she said, yeah. And I said, never in my life have I ever been approached so non-confrontationally about religious services. Like, if I were to go and to check them out, that would be the invitation that I would take. And that, I think, is how God acts, like, in that non-confrontational, loving way. We'd love to have you, you know. Oh my God, I was telling another story. Tonight's the night of not being able to tell stories about certain people. So anyway, I was telling another story of one other situation that I've had. I mean, if I really sat here and thought about it, I probably had a lot of situations like that, but that was definitely the first one that, like, really, really stood out to me. And I was like, wow, like, I would actually, if I was interested, I would actually take them up on that, you know? Because there are moments where I'm kind of like, especially around Christmas time, I definitely don't want to be a creaster, which I just learned what that word was not too long ago, but like where you go to church on Christmas and Easter. I think they call it a creaster. But anyway, I think like going to a Christmas Eve service of hymns, I would love that. But now, the way that our family holidays are, that doesn't necessarily work for Alex and I, you know? I don't know how I would do that. I'd like to go to like a midnight mass of carols is what I would like to do in a church. Maybe one time before I die. There are definitely afternoon services. Maybe I'll look into that this year. And I don't believe that you have to be in a church to celebrate Christmas, but I love Christmas hymns. Like hymns. Like I love them, carols, you know. Not carols, but like hymns. So, have you ever seen the services? My mom used to go to these. She used to love them. Where they literally just have the live manger at the front of the church. And then, I wonder what they'll do at churches and stuff for Christmas this year. Think about that. They have the live manger, and then they just have like a children's choir with it, you know, or like the choir singing like Christmas hymns. I've always wanted to do something like that. I've never done it. Well, all right, you guys, listen. I'm gonna get off here now. My noodles and company is kicking my stomach. I need to get something to drink, like a bottle of water or something. So I'm gonna stop at the gas station, and then I'm gonna listen to my audiobook on the way home. So I'm gonna get off here now. I'm gonna make this a very, very short vlog. Check out all of my information below. If you made it this far in the vlog, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Put Christmas emojis in the comment section below. We'll freak everybody out. I said we're gonna screw it. We'll freak everybody out that didn't watch till the end, and they'll be like, what's all the Christmas emojis? Put all these Christmas emojis in the comment section below. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday. Oh my God, it's the beginning of the weekend. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Do something fun today, exciting. Do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at the mirror. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single night, or every single morning and every single night, and tell yourself, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation, like you are valuable. You remember, you can start your day over whenever you want, but tell yourself, today I'm going to have an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today, and I'm going to have great opportunities come my way and positive experiences all day long, but I can always start my day over whenever I want. Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to at least one person and let them know how much they mean to you, and just tell them, hey, I was thinking of you today. How are you? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of that, to say those things to people and reach out to them. And also practice random acts of kindness. But like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. And it's always good to put kindness, love, compassion, and yeah, kindness, love, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, love, and always lead with love, like the 4 Agreements says. Although I said I wasn't going to say that anymore. But always lead with love. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. 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 Love ya!